Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through all the noise and really zeroing in on a topic that I think stresses out so many people,
Uh,
getting fluent in a new language.
right.
But we're not going to be talking about, expensive courses or the latest apps.
Exactly. We're going deep into one single, really compelling source. The personal story of one language learner. Someone who achieved this consistent, pretty remarkable progress in English.
And what makes this story so powerful is that it just skips the theory. It goes
Well,
straight to the practical stuff.
It's an actionable blueprint
Yeah.
for daily consistency built around these really small steps.
The sources we've gathered give us this perfect mix of the psychological foundation, the emotional why and the tactical side, the very practical how.
It's a roadmap for discipline, but one that's rooted in, well, a surprising amount of warmth and simplicity.
So our mission today is to really pull apart those two things.
The foundational motivations, and then the precise daily steps this learner actually used. We want you to walk away from this understanding that consistency, it's not a talent, it's a choice you make with your structure.
And the single biggest takeaway, which just screams from this source, is that practice matters more than talent. I mean, this
Yeah.
whole deep dive is built on that one idea. Small, steady step, when you apply them relentlessly, will always win. Always. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So anytime you're analyzing a successful habit, you
Yeah.
have to look at the environment, right? Where it all started.
Absolutely.
This learner describes growing up in a modest home, small town, but it was a home that was just overflowing with support, a culture of quiet dedication.
And what's fascinating here is how the lessons were taught. It wasn't through lectures, It was all nonverbal. It was modeling.
Like the father's example.
Yes, exactly. A diligent man rises before dawn, works hard, comes home tired, but, and this is the crucial part, the source notes, he never complains.
Never complains. Wow.
That quiet acceptance of effort, just as a necessary part of life, no matter how tired you are, that sets an incredibly high standard, but a realistic one.
It teaches that effort isn't temporary. It's a constant. It removes the drama from discipline, doesn't it?
It does. If my dad can do this hard, tiring work day every day without a word, then surely I can handle 5 new vocabulary words.
Exactly.
And that quiet discipline is paired with this essential emotional scaffolding from the mother. Think about her consistent response when the learner got discouraged.
Try again, you will do better.
That simple phrase, it's not just comfort, it's an immediate pivot back to action. It minimizes the failure and just completely maximizes the potential for the next try.
It's the difference between saying, oh, it's okay, you tried, and saying, get back in there, you can do this.
Precisely. And if we connect this to the learner's drive, you see that the parents instilled this deep, almost sacred belief that knowledge is power.
So the effort wasn't just about a good grade.
Not at all. It was about changing their future, giving them a chance at something the parents maybe couldn't have. And that desire, that need to make them proud, becomes the bedrock. It's what holds you steady when your own motivation starts to fade.
So before they even open a textbook, the values are already there. Persistence, the power of education. That's a powerhouse motivation right from the start.
It is. So once that family foundation is set, the learner moves into the external system, which is the school.
And the source describes it as small but pleasant, with patient teachers who were just instrumental in shaping this learning mindset.
And this is where that core philosophy we mentioned earlier gets driven home.
Practice matters more than talent. I want to stick with this for a second, because in a world that just loves to celebrate the natural genius, the person who just gets it instantly,
Right.
how do you listening really internalize this message that just showing up is what matters most?
That's the critical question, isn't it? And the source shows that the shift comes from external affirmation, specifically in how mistakes are handled.
Okay.
The teachers didn't just tolerate mistakes, they welcomed them. They called them steps forward.
That's a brilliant strategy.
It is, because it directly attacks the biggest barrier to fluency, which is the fear of sounding stupid.
Of course. If a mistake isn't an error, if it's just data, proof that you're trying, then all that pressure just evaporates.
Right, and you're more likely to speak, which is, the only way you actually get better. It creates a low-stakes environment.
So once that mindset is stable, the learner translates it into a tangible plan.
A blueprint for consistency. This is the structural genius of their approach.
Okay, let's talk structure, because this is the immediate takeaway for you, the listener. It starts with planning.
A weekly framework. Every single Sunday, They write a simple weekly plan. And importantly, they write it in English.
Oh, that's clever.
It is. It hits two goals at once. You get the consistency planning and you get an immediate language application. You're using the language to plan learning the language.
And then the daily goals are the engine that drives it all.
And they are so minimal, they feel almost trivial. But that's the whole point. The list is short, it's measurable, and it's non-negotiable.
So what are they?
4 specific things. 1,
Yeah.
read at least 1 page daily.
Just 1 page. Okay.
2, learn 5 new words.
Okay, I have to ask about that. 5 new words. That sounds incredibly small. You know, we often think language learning means cramming 20, 30 words a day.
I know.
Doesn't limiting it to 5 slow you down too much?
That is such an important question. But the science, it actually supports the 5-word rule, especially for consolidation.
Really?
Yeah. Learning 20 words passively, you'll probably have 0 retention a week later. The power of this method isn't the quantity, it's the quality of what comes next. They aren't just reading 5 words, they are deeply processing them, which we'll get to.
Okay, so a robust foundation, not just a long list of words you forget.
Exactly. And the other 2 goals are 3, speak aloud every day, and 4, listen to short audios and repeat the phrases.
Okay, let's move from the planning to the execution, the tactical toolkit. The learner is super disciplined about that post-school transition. Wash up, eat, rest a bit, and then straight to homework, followed by the English routine. No ambiguity.
And that structure transition is key. It minimizes decision fatigue. It's just what you do. It's programmed. And when they get to the vocabulary part, that's where the deep processing happens.
So walk us through the exact steps. How do they handle the new material?
It's a closed-loop system for retention.
Right.
They read a short story. They note down exactly 5 new words.
5, not 6?
5. And then immediately they have to create sentences with those 5 words.
Ah, that's the difference maker, the instant application.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're forcing active recall. You're creating context. You move the word from temporary storage right into your working memory.
And that's why the 5-word limit is so brilliant. It means you actually have the mental energy to use them properly every single day.
Exactly. It solidifies the connection. But as you said, fluency needs output, not just input. And the source gives some great low-tech ways to improve pronunciation.
The first one is just reading aloud. Simple. You're training the muscles in your mouth, the mechanics of speech.
And the second is, well, it's more fun. It addresses rhythm and intonation, which is what often separates a proficient speaker from a really fluent one.
What is it?
Watching short clips or cartoons in English and actively mimicking the pronunciation and the rhythm. The source calls it fun and effective.
So it's shadow speaking.
It's shadow speaking, and it's a phenomenal way to pick up the native cadence of a language without even needing a speaking partner.
You're training your ear and your mouth at the same time. You're learning the music of the language, not just the words.
And finally, there's this incredible accountability ritual that closes out the day. The learner shares a story in English with their father, and the father listens and gives encouragement.
That's a beautiful way to bring it all together, the motivation and the routine. But I wonder, doesn't that external pressure sometimes make it harder? Having a parent listen to you struggle through a story.
That's a really thoughtful point. But the source implies the father is a non-judgmental partner here. The goal isn't correction. It's just encouragement.
So it reinforces that idea that mistakes are okay.
Exactly. The father's listening validates all the effort. It makes the work relevant outside of their own head. So the practice stops being a chore and it becomes this shared moment of pride every evening.
And that positive feeling guarantees you're going to show up the next day.
Of course. So we've established the structure, but consistency is a battle, right? It's not a permanent state. And the source is really honest about this.
Yeah, it talks about the reality of it. There are days when the learner feels lazy, tired, just resistant.
Which is everyone.
This might be the most practical part. How do they handle those days when the resistance is really strong?
They fall back on their teacher's message. Practice makes progress. And they use what I'd call a minimum viable effort tactic. On a low-energy day, the goal is just to do something.
Just one thing.
Even if it's just reading a single page. You don't have to perform perfectly. You just have to keep the streak alive.
So it's about continuity over intensity. You're prioritizing the psychological win of not breaking the chain. That's a genius piece of self-management.
It is. Because breaking the chain makes it so much harder to start again. So you shorten the link for a day, you do the bare minimum, and you preserve the habit.
But pushing through those moments, even for the minimum, still requires powerful fuel. And the sources show that the engine driving all of this is a really clear long-term vision.
And these aren't vague wishes, they're very defined outcomes. The learner lays out three.
What are they?
The first is altruistic, to become an English teacher themselves, specifically to teach kids that it's okay to make mistakes, that they're just steps forward.
That's beautiful, paying it forward.
Right. The second is creative, to write their own stories one day and share them with the world. They see language as a vehicle for creation.
And the third?
The third is about personal connection, traveling, meeting new people, learning about other cultures, and just talking freely. These three dreams, teaching, creating, and connecting, they're the constant why. They're what you think about when the 5 words feel tedious.
It moves the focus from the micro task to the macro purpose.
Oh, that's it, exactly.
This whole deep dive really is a testament to the idea that huge progress comes from tiny, repeated inputs. If this learner, who started out shy and unsure, can build fluency this way,
Then anyone listening can absolutely start applying these ideas right now.
the source material gives us this tiny start list, entry points designed to just defeat that initial inertia.
So if the full routine feels like too much today, just try one of these instead.
Okay, here's the menu. Speak 1 sentence in front of a mirror.
Takes 10 seconds.
Write 1 sentence.
Another 30 seconds.
Read 1 short paragraph.
1 minute tops.
Repeat what you hear in a video, even just 1 short phrase. Or just copy down a few simple phrases from a book.
That's it. 5 micro tasks. They take less than 5 minutes total. It's all about removing the anxiety and just getting the muscles working.
And the final piece of the mindset is crucial here. You have to embrace imperfection.
You have to. You cannot be afraid to laugh at your mistakes. They are completely, fundamentally normal.
Confidence, as this source shows over and over, doesn't come before you practice. It is built by the practice.
Yes. You show up, you do the tiny task, and the confidence just grows naturally because you've proven to yourself day after day that you're capable of being consistent.
So what have we really synthesized today?
I think we have a clear success formula. It starts with that foundational family support, an embrace mistakes mindset, and you combine that with clear, tiny daily goals.
5 new words, 1 page of reading, speaking aloud.
And that equals, sure, steady progress toward fluency. The learner proved that the diligence of the father and the encouragement of the mother, when you translate that into a simple daily routine, that's the secret weapon.
And since the learner's big vision is to share stories and communicate globally, every single one of those tiny daily tasks is an act of preparation for a much bigger conversation.
Absolutely. So our final provocative thought for you today is this. How might adopting just one of these specific, tiny daily steps,
Like the 5-word rule or the mimicry technique.
how might that immediately change what you choose to read or listen to in English this week?
Don't just consume your content. Treat every piece of it as raw material for your next 5 sentences. And make sure you do that tiny task today.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.